In the shadowy corners of ancient forests and beneath the whispering winds of the northern lands, stories of gods and goddesses have been passed down through generations. These stories are more than just myths, they are the heartbeat of Norse culture, painting a vivid tapestry of a world where deities shaped every aspect of life. Norse mythology is a treasure chest brimming with tales of powerful beings who once roamed the cosmos, battling monsters, guiding mortals, and weaving the threads of destiny. It is a mythology born from the icy breath of the Jotunheim and the fiery heart of Muspelheim, a blend of the harsh and the enchanting. The gods of this mythology were not distant, unattainable figures, they were deeply intertwined with the lives of ordinary people, their stories offering guidance, hope, and a sense of purpose. At the heart of Norse beliefs is a pantheon of gods whose very existence was a dance of cosmic forces. Odin, the wise All-Father, was more than just a ruler of Asgard, he was a symbol of wisdom and sacrifice. His one-eyed gaze, forever seeking knowledge, reminded the people that wisdom often comes at a great cost. His ravens, Hugin and Munin, flew across the world, gathering information, and their presence was a constant reminder that no corner of existence was beyond the reach of divine curiosity. Thor, the Thunder's protector, wielded Mjolnir with a fierce resolve. His battles against giants and monsters were not just epic struggles but a reassurance to the people that there was a force of protection watching over them. Every storm, every rumble of thunder, carried the promise that Thor was guarding the realms, ensuring that chaos did not consume their world. Frigg, Odin's wife, embodied love and motherhood. Her presence was a comforting blanket in the often harsh world of Norse mythology. As the Queen of Asgard, she was a nurturing figure whose compassion and sorrow mirrored the trials of life and the strength found in family bonds. Her ability to see into the future, tempered by her sorrow, underscored the fragile beauty of fate and the pain that sometimes accompanies it. Loki, the trickster god, is a figure who embodies the duality of nature itself. His mischievous acts and cunning plots were both feared and admired. Loki's ability to change shape and defy expectations made him a wild card in the pantheon, a reminder that unpredictability and change were as much a part of life as order and stability. His role in the stories often blurred the lines between hero and villain, reflecting the complexity of the human condition. Freyr and Freya, the twins of fertility and love, brought abundance and passion into the lives of the Norse people. Freyr's reign over the harvest and Freya's influence over love and war ensured that every aspect of life was touched by their divine presence. Freya's tears, which were said to turn into gold, symbolized the bittersweet nature of love and the richness that comes from embracing both joy and sorrow. Tyr, the god of law and heroism, was a symbol of courage and sacrifice. His act of binding the monstrous wolf Fenrir was not just an epic tale of heroism but a powerful reminder of the cost of justice. Tyr's bravery in the face of overwhelming odds showed that true heroism often requires personal sacrifice, a lesson that resonated deeply with the people. Heimdall, the watchman of the gods, stood guard over the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge connecting the realms. His keen senses and unwavering vigilance were a testament to the importance of vigilance and preparedness. Heimdall's role reminded the Norse people that even in times of peace, there was always a need for watchfulness and readiness. Balder, the god of light and beauty, was a beloved figure whose death brought profound sorrow to the gods and humans alike. His story was a poignant reminder of the transient nature of life and the deep sense of loss that accompanies the departure of the beloved. Balder's death and the ensuing mourning symbolized the inevitable cycles of life and death, and the hope that even in darkness, there is a promise of renewal. The gods of Norse mythology were not just abstract beings, they were woven into the very fabric of everyday life. Their tales were recited around hearths, their symbols etched into artifacts, and their lessons lived out in the daily struggles and triumphs of the people. Each deity had a role, a story, and a lesson that transcended the boundaries of myth and became a part of the living, breathing culture of the Norse people. In Norse mythology, gods and goddesses were not distant deities but close companions in the journey of life, embodying the virtues and vices, joys and sorrows that define the human experience. Their stories were a mirror reflecting the values, fears, and hopes of a people who look to the divine for understanding and meaning in a world filled with both wonder and peril. In the heart of the cosmos, where the light of the stars meets the endless night, there exists a god whose presence echoes through the ages. Odin, the All-Father, stands as a towering figure in Norse mythology, embodying wisdom, sacrifice, and the unyielding quest for knowledge. His story is not just a tale of power, but a testament to the profound depth of his character and his pivotal role in the world of gods and mortals. Odin's origins are steeped in mystery and grandeur. As the chief god of the Aser tribe, he was born from the ancient giants and was destined to lead the gods in their battles against the forces of chaos. He was not merely a ruler, but a seeker of truth and wisdom, always striving to understand the mysteries of the cosmos. His quest for knowledge led him to sacrifice one of his most cherished possessions, his eye. In exchange for a sip from the well of wisdom, Odin gave up his eye, a profound act of self-sacrifice that granted him unparalleled insight into the secrets of the universe. Odin's attributes are as rich as his stories. He is often depicted with a long, white beard, his face etched with the wisdom of ages. His single, all-seeing eye speaks of his sacrifice and his insatiable thirst for knowledge. Clad in a cloak that shimmers with the colors of the night sky, he travels across the world, accompanied by his ravens, Hugin and Munin. These ravens are not mere birds, they are his eyes and ears, gathering information from every corner of the world and bringing it back to him. They are symbols of his quest for understanding and his unyielding vigilance. Odin's role as the chief god and ruler of Asgard is marked by his profound responsibility and leadership. As the head of the pantheon, he presides over the great hall of Valhalla, where fallen warriors are honored and prepared for the final battle of Ragnarok. Valhalla is not just a place of honor, it is a symbol of Odin's deep respect for bravery and sacrifice. The warriors who reside there are not just guests, but are part of a grand plan that Odin has orchestrated to ensure that his people are ready for the end times. One of the most touching aspects of Odin's story is his relationship with his sons. Thor, the thunder god, and Balder, the god of light, are not just his children but are central figures in his world. His love for them, coupled with the heavy burden of his responsibilities, adds a layer of complexity to his character. Odin's actions are not always easy to understand, but they are driven by a deep sense of duty and a profound love for his family. The key myths surrounding Odin are filled with drama and emotion. One of the most poignant is the tale of his quest for the runes, the ancient symbols of power and knowledge. Odin's pursuit of these runes led him to hang himself from the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 nights, pierced by his own spear. This self-sacrifice was a testament to his dedication to acquiring wisdom. The runes he discovered brought him not just knowledge, but a deeper understanding of the cosmic order and the power of words. Another significant myth is the story of Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. Odin's role in this final battle is both heroic and tragic. He knows that his fate is sealed, but he faces it with courage and determination. The prophecy foretells that he will be devoured by the monstrous wolf Fenrir, but his death will not be in vain. Odin's sacrifice is a part of a larger cosmic cycle, a poignant reminder of the inevitability of change and the strength found in facing it. Odin's symbols are powerful and evocative. His spear, Gungnir, is not just a weapon but a symbol of his authority and his ability to shape fate. The spear never misses its mark, reflecting Odin's precision and his role as a guide for the gods and heroes. His 2 ravens, Hugin and Munin, represent his intellect and memory, always on the lookout for knowledge and insight. The world tree, Yggdrasil, is the axis of the cosmos, linking the heavens, earth, and the underworld. It is a living symbol of the interconnectedness of all things, and Odin's association with it highlights his role as the keeper of cosmic balance. Odin's presence is both awe-inspiring and deeply moving. His sacrifices, his quest for wisdom, and his role as a father and leader paint a picture of a god who is deeply intertwined with the fate of the world. His stories are not just ancient myths, but timeless reminders of the values of sacrifice, wisdom, and courage. Through the ages, Odin's legacy continues to inspire and captivate, embodying the profound essence of Norse mythology and the enduring power of the gods. In the tumultuous clash of storm and sky, there roars a name that echoes with thunderous might, Thor. The thunder god, with his fierce presence and unyielding strength, embodies the raw power and unshakable courage that defined the ancient Norse world. His story is not just one of might, but of a hero who stood as the bulwark against chaos, protecting gods and humans alike with an unwavering sense of duty. Thor's origins are as mighty as his character. Born to Odin, the All-Father, and the earth goddess Jord, Thor was destined to be a force of nature. His attributes are the very essence of elemental power. With his red hair and beard, he stands as a symbol of fiery strength. His eyes, sharp and unyielding, reflect the fierce determination that drives him in every battle. Thor's most famous weapon, Mjolnir, is not merely a hammer but a symbol of his immense power and his role as the protector of both gods and humans. The magic of Mjolnir is as legendary as Thor himself. Forged by dwarven smiths, this hammer is no ordinary weapon. It is enchanted to always return to Thor's hand after being thrown, and it possesses the power to summon lightning and thunder. When Thor grips Mjolnir, the skies erupt in a storm, and the ground trembles beneath his feet. The hammer's might is a reflection of Thor's unwavering strength and his role as a guardian against the forces of chaos. Thor's role as protector is at the heart of his legend. He is the defender of Asgard, the home of the gods, and Midgard, the realm of humans. His battles against giants and monsters are not just epic clashes but vital struggles to keep the world in balance. Thor's courage is boundless, and his strength is unparalleled. He is a figure of reassurance for the people, knowing that their protector is always ready to fight for their safety. One of the most poignant tales of Thor's heroism is his battle against the serpent Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent. This monstrous creature encircles the world, and its very presence is a threat to all life. Thor's encounters with Jormungandr are filled with intensity and drama. In one legendary battle, Thor and the serpent clash with such force that the ocean surges and the heavens roar. Despite the fierce struggle, Thor's determination never wavers. This battle symbolizes not just a physical fight but the eternal struggle between order and chaos, a theme that resonates deeply with the human experience. Another significant myth is Thor's journey to the land of the giants, Jotunheim. In this tale, Thor disguises himself as a bride to retrieve his stolen hammer, Mjolnir. The story is a mix of humor and tension, showcasing Thor's bravery and resourcefulness. Despite the challenges, Thor's resolve never falters. This myth highlights Thor's ability to face adversity with both strength and cleverness, endearing him to all who hear his story. Thor's battles are not just heroic feats but are imbued with deeper meanings. His fight against the giants is a constant reminder of his role as a defender against chaos. Each battle he engages in is a testament to his unyielding courage and his commitment to protecting both gods and humans. Thor's strength is not just physical but also moral, embodying the values of bravery and duty that were central to Norse beliefs. The myths of Thor are also filled with moments of deep emotion and sacrifice. His role as a protector comes with the weight of responsibility, and his battles often put him in grave danger. Yet, Thor's dedication to his duty never wavers. His unwavering commitment to defending his people, even at great personal risk, is a powerful testament to his character. Thor's story is one of resilience and sacrifice, embodying the ideals of heroism and duty. Thor's legacy is etched in the very fabric of Norse mythology. His name resonates through the ages as a symbol of strength, protection, and unyielding courage. Each myth and legend surrounding Thor is a reflection of his role as a guardian and hero. His battles, his hammer, and his unwavering resolve paint a picture of a god who stood as a bulwark against the forces of chaos, embodying the very essence of heroism. Thor's story continues to inspire, a powerful reminder of the strength and bravery that lie within the heart of every hero. In the golden halls of Asgard, amidst the grandeur of the gods, there reigns a figure of profound grace and strength, Frigg, the Queen of Asgard. Her presence is a beacon of warmth and nurturing, embodying the essence of motherhood and the strength of love. Frigg's story is a moving testament to the power of compassion and the burdens that come with great responsibility. Frigg's origins are as regal as her role suggests. She is a daughter of the giantess Fjordjan and, through her marriage to Odin, became the queen of the gods. Her lineage connects her to both the world of giants and the divine realm of the Aesir, making her a bridge between these two powerful forces. Her attributes reflect a blend of wisdom and tenderness. With a gentle demeanor and a heart full of empathy, Frigg is the nurturing force who holds Asgard together with her love and care. As Odin's wife, Frigg holds a position of great influence and respect. Their union symbolizes not just a partnership but a deep, enduring bond that supports the stability of the cosmos. While Odin is often seen as a seeker of knowledge and a warrior, Frigg's strength lies in her role as the goddess of motherhood and domestic life. Her love for her family and her people is the bedrock upon which the gods' lives are built. One of the most touching aspects of Frigg's story is her role as a mother. Her children, including the beloved Balder, are central to her life. The love she has for them is evident in every story and myth. Frigg's relationship with Balder is particularly poignant. Balder, known for his beauty and kindness, was deeply loved by his mother. Her care for him was not just that of a parent, but a protector who sought to shield him from harm. This maternal instinct underscores the depth of Frigg's character and her dedication to her family. The myths surrounding Frigg are filled with both beauty and sorrow. One of the most heart-wrenching tales is the story of Balder's death. Balder, beloved by all, was destined to die, a fate that Frigg desperately tried to prevent. In a desperate bid to save her son, Frigg extracted promises from every creature, plant, and object to not harm Balder. However, she overlooked the mistletoe, believing it too insignificant to be dangerous. Loki, the trickster god, exploited this oversight, using mistletoe to craft a weapon that ultimately led to Balder's death. The grief Frigg experiences from Balder's death is a profound and emotional element of her story. Her sorrow is immense, reflecting the pain of losing a beloved child. Frigg's mourning is not just for her son, but for the loss felt by the entire pantheon and the human realm. Her ability to see the future, a gift she possessed, only deepens her anguish as she understands the inevitable sorrow and challenges that lie ahead. Her tears, which are said to turn into gold, symbolize both the wealth of her love and the heavy cost of her loss. Symbols associated with Frigg reflect her role as a goddess of love and protection. She is often depicted with a spinning wheel, symbolizing the weaving of fate and the nurturing of life. The spinning wheel represents her ability to influence the destiny of individuals and the home, weaving together the threads of existence with care and precision. Frigg's symbol is a reminder of the intricate balance she maintains between the divine and the mortal, the protector and the nurturer. Frigg's presence in Norse mythology is a testament to the power of maternal love and the strength that comes from caring for others. Her story is not just about her role as Odin's wife, but about the profound impact she has as a mother and a queen. The pain she endures and the sacrifices she makes highlight the deep emotional currents that run through her life. Frigg's love, compassion, and resilience make her a figure of enduring respect and admiration, a shining example of the power of a mother's love and the sacrifices she makes for her family and her realm. In the shadowy corners of Asgard, where laughter mingles with whispers of mischief, there exists a figure who embodies chaos and cunning, Loki, the trickster god. Loki's presence is as captivating as it is troubling, a god whose antics and shapeshifting have left an indelible mark on the world of the gods. Loki's origins are both complex and intriguing. Born of the giants and a blood brother to Odin, Loki straddles the line between chaos and order. His lineage places him in a unique position, bridging the worlds of giants and gods. Unlike other gods, Loki is neither purely divine nor entirely monstrous. This blend of traits makes him a figure of profound complexity, embodying both charm and menace. Loki's attributes are as varied as his moods. With his ability to change shape and appearance, he is a master of disguise. Whether taking on the form of a beautiful woman or a fearsome beast, Loki's transformations are not merely physical but also psychological, allowing him to manipulate and deceive with ease. His sharp wit and quick tongue are as much a part of his arsenal as his shape-shifting abilities. Loki's charm and intelligence make him a captivating figure, but they also make him a formidable troublemaker, capable of stirring conflict wherever he goes. One of Loki's most notable roles is that of the shapeshifter and troublemaker. His ability to transform himself into various creatures, be it a fly, a mare, or even a salmon, enables him to interfere in the lives of gods and mortals alike. These shape-shifting escapades are not harmless pranks but often lead to significant consequences. Loki's actions, driven by a mix of malice and mischief, disrupt the order of the world and challenge the gods in ways they can scarcely anticipate. Among the many myths that revolve around Loki, one of the most striking is his involvement in the story of Baldur's death. Loki's deceitful nature is on full display as he manipulates the events leading to the death of Baldur, the beloved son of Odin and Frigg. After learning about Frigg's promise to every object and creature not to harm Baldur, Loki discovers that the mistletoe was an exception. Exploiting this weakness, Loki crafts a spear from mistletoe and tricks Hod, Baldur's blind brother, into using it. The resulting tragedy is a profound loss for the gods and a poignant illustration of Loki's capacity for both cunning and cruelty. The story of Loki's punishment is equally heart-wrenching. After orchestrating Baldur's death, Loki's misdeeds lead to his capture by the gods. In a dramatic twist of fate, Loki is bound to a rock with the entrails of his son, and a serpent is placed above him, dripping venom onto his face. His wife, Sigyn, stands by him, catching the venom in a bowl to relieve his suffering. However, every time she has to empty the bowl, Loki is left exposed to the venom, causing him immense pain. This punishment symbolizes the gods' recognition of Loki's threat to the cosmic order and their determination to see justice done. Loki's role in the apocalyptic battle of Ragnarok marks the culmination of his tumultuous relationship with the gods. As the end of the world approaches, Loki is revealed as one of the principal antagonists. He leads the forces of chaos against the gods, unleashing destruction and fury upon the realms. This final confrontation is not just a battle between gods and giants, but a deeply emotional clash of ideologies and destinies. Loki's betrayal and his role in Ragnarok are both a tragic end and a necessary disruption, reflecting the profound themes of change and the cyclical nature of existence. Loki's story is one of contrasts, charm and cruelty, laughter and sorrow. His ability to shift shapes mirrors his shifting loyalties and the unpredictable nature of his actions. Through his myths, Loki stands as a figure who both captivates and disrupts, embodying the complex dance of creation and destruction. His legacy is a blend of heartache and fascination, a reminder of the power of mischief and the profound impact of a trickster god on the fabric of existence. In the heart of Norse mythology, where the world is shaped by gods and magic, there exists a figure whose essence is intertwined with the growth of the earth and the prosperity of life, Freyr, the god of fertility. Freyr's story is one of life's most touching and essential themes: the power of growth, the promise of harvest, and the joy of abundance. Freyr's origins are as noble as his role is vital. He is the son of Njord, the god of the sea, and the brother of the goddess Freya. This lineage places Freyr in a position of great importance, connecting him to both the forces of nature and the wealth of the earth. His attributes are symbols of fertility and prosperity. With a radiant presence and a heart as vast as the fields he nurtures, Freyr embodies the nurturing power that brings life to the land. One of Freyr's most significant roles is his influence over agriculture, fertility, and prosperity. He is the god who blesses the land with the promise of fruitful harvests and bountiful crops. Farmers and peasants would invoke Freyr's name as they plowed their fields, hoping for his favor to ensure that their efforts would yield a rich and plentiful bounty. His presence is a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and the natural world, a connection that sustains life and provides the means for survival. The myths surrounding Freyr are filled with symbols of growth and fertility. One of the most touching tales is the story of Freyr's magical boar, Gullinbursti. This golden-bristled boar is not just a symbol of power but also a creature that represents the fertility of the land. Its presence in the myths underscores the connection between Freyr and the natural world, emphasizing the god's role in ensuring that the earth remains vibrant and full of life. Another powerful symbol associated with Freyr is his sacred ship, Skidbladnir. This ship, which can be folded and carried in a pocket, represents the god's ability to travel and spread prosperity wherever he goes. It is a symbol of both practical support and divine intervention, carrying Freyr's blessings to those who seek his aid. The ability of Skidbladnir to set sail in any condition, regardless of the weather, reflects Freyr's boundless influence over the natural forces that govern the world. Freyr's influence extends beyond agriculture into the realm of personal well-being and happiness. His blessings are not limited to the harvest, but also encompass the joys of life, love, and prosperity. Freyr's ability to bring peace and satisfaction into the lives of mortals highlights his role as a benevolent deity who wishes for all to experience the fullness of life. His presence in the myths is a constant reminder of the positive impact that nature and fertility have on human existence. One of the most poignant myths involving Freyr is his love story with the giantess Gerd. Freyr's love for Gerd is a tale of longing and devotion. He falls deeply in love with her, but their relationship faces many challenges due to their different backgrounds. The story of Freyr's courtship, where he sacrifices his magical sword to win Gerd's affection, is a testament to the lengths he will go to for the sake of love and connection. This sacrifice demonstrates the depth of Freyr's emotions and his willingness to give up his own power for the happiness of another. Their eventual union symbolizes the merging of different worlds and the harmony that can be achieved through love and sacrifice. Freyr's impact on the world is both profound and enduring. His role in fertility and prosperity is a crucial part of Norse mythology, representing the essential connection between humanity and the natural world. The stories of Freyr remind us of the importance of nurturing the earth and the blessings that come from living in harmony with nature. His legacy is a celebration of life's abundance and the joy that comes from a world where the land is fertile and the people are content. Freyr's influence continues to inspire awe and reverence, reflecting the timeless power of nature and the enduring hope for a prosperous future. In the vibrant tapestry of Norse mythology, there is a goddess whose essence flows through both the tender and the fierce, a deity whose dual nature captures the heart and imagination like no other. Freya, the goddess of love and war, is a figure of extraordinary beauty and power, embodying the profound complexity of life itself. Freya's origins are as rich as her presence is compelling. She is the daughter of Njord, the sea god, and the sister of Freyr, the god of fertility. Her lineage ties her to the forces of nature and the divine, giving her a unique place among the gods. Freya's attributes are as varied as the roles she plays. She is often depicted as a stunning figure, radiant and alluring, whose beauty captivates all who behold her. But beneath this enchanting exterior lies a fierce warrior spirit, capable of commanding respect and instilling fear. In her dual role, Freya bridges the worlds of love and battle with remarkable grace. As the goddess of love, she is associated with beauty, desire, and the deep connections that bind people together. Her influence extends over romantic love and personal relationships, making her a symbol of passion and the joy that comes from intimate bonds. Yet, Freya's power does not end with love. She is equally renowned as a formidable warrior, commanding the respect of even the bravest of gods and heroes. Her presence on the battlefield is both awe-inspiring and terrifying, representing the fierce determination and courage that drive her in times of conflict. The myths surrounding Freya highlight her extraordinary range. One of the most touching tales is her association with the Valkyries, the fierce maidens who choose those who will live and die in battle. Freya's role in this story is profound, as she is the one who receives half of those who fall in battle in her hall, Folkvanger. This hall, like Valhalla, is a place where the chosen warriors find peace and honor after their mortal struggles. Freya's connection with the Valkyries symbolizes her influence over both the fates of warriors and the domain of love. Her ability to command such powerful figures underscores her dual nature and her capacity to affect both the realm of war and the world of emotions. Another poignant myth is her quest for the precious necklace, Brisingamen. This necklace, a symbol of Freya's beauty and allure, was crafted by dwarves and held great power. In the myth, Freya goes to great lengths to acquire it, including making a significant personal sacrifice. Her determination to obtain Brisingament highlights her commitment to her own power and identity. The necklace is not merely an adornment, but a symbol of her divine strength and the love she embodies. Freya's influence also extends to the magical arts. She is known for her mastery of siege, a form of ancient Norse magic associated with prophecy and shapeshifting. This ability allows her to see into the future and shape the destinies of both gods and mortals. Freya's proficiency in siege is a testament to her profound connection with the mystical and the arcane, further enhancing her role as a powerful and enigmatic goddess. The emotional depth of Freya's character is reflected in her struggles and sacrifices. Her love for her husband, Od, is a poignant element of her story. Od's sudden disappearance and Freya's relentless search for him show the depth of her devotion. Her grief and longing during this search underscore her humanity and vulnerability, adding layers to her already complex persona. Freya's dedication to finding Od, despite the odds and obstacles, speaks to the strength of her love and the personal sacrifices she is willing to make. Freya's story is a rich blend of beauty, power, and emotion. Her dual role as the goddess of love and war reflects the multifaceted nature of life itself, the way tenderness and strength can coexist and how love and battle can intertwine. Her myths are filled with moments of passion, bravery, and deep personal sacrifice, illustrating the profound impact she has on both the mortal and divine worlds. Freya stands as a testament to the enduring power of love and the unyielding spirit of a warrior, capturing the heart and imagination with her extraordinary presence and timeless legacy. In the heart of Norse mythology, there stands a figure whose name resonates with justice and bravery, Tyr, the god of law and heroism. His story is a powerful testament to the values of honor, sacrifice, and the pursuit of justice, and his legacy is marked by a singular act of heroism that has etched his name in the annals of myth. Tyr's origins are rooted in the ancient divine lineage of the gods. He is the son of Odin, the All-Father, and the god of war and justice. Tyr's attributes are those of a steadfast warrior and a devoted guardian of law. His role is crucial in maintaining order and balance within the cosmos, serving as the embodiment of righteous action and moral integrity. His presence in the myths reflects his dedication to upholding justice and his willingness to stand firm in the face of overwhelming odds. Tyr's role in law and justice is profound. He is the god who oversees the enforcement of laws and the maintenance of societal order. In a world where chaos and disorder often threaten the stability of existence, Tyr stands as a beacon of fairness and authority. His commitment to justice is not merely about punishing wrongdoing, but ensuring that the laws serve the greater good and protect the innocent. Tyr's influence is felt in the way he represents the moral compass of the gods, guiding them in their decisions and actions. One of the most touching and heroic myths involving Tyr is his sacrifice to bind Fenrir, the monstrous wolf destined to bring about the gods' end during Ragnarok. Fenrir's growing strength and ferocity pose a significant threat to the gods, and they know that they must find a way to contain him before it's too late. The gods devise a plan to bind Fenrir with a magical chain, Gleipnir, which is crafted by dwarves using ingredients that symbolize various aspects of reality, such as the sound of a cat's footsteps and the roots of mountains. To bind Fenrir, the gods must first convince him to allow them to place the chain on him. Fenrir, sensing the gods' intentions, is suspicious and demands a guarantee of trust before he will let them bind him. Tyr, understanding the gravity of the situation and the necessity of the act, steps forward to reassure Fenrir. He agrees to place his hand in Fenrir's mouth as a sign of trust, knowing that the binding will come with a heavy price. When Fenrir is finally bound by Gleipnir, he realizes he has been deceived. In a furious struggle, Fenrir bites down on Tyr's hand, severing it in the process. This act of sacrifice is both painful and profound. Tyr's willingness to give up his hand highlights the extent of his commitment to the greater good and his dedication to protecting the world from the chaos that Fenrir represents. Tyr's sacrifice is a poignant reminder of the personal costs that often accompany acts of heroism and the strength required to uphold one's principles in the face of personal loss. Tyr's story is a powerful example of how the ideals of law and justice are intertwined with acts of great personal sacrifice. His role as the god of law reflects his deep commitment to fairness and order, while his sacrifice to bind Fenrir underscores his bravery and willingness to face great personal hardship for the sake of a greater cause. Tyr's legacy is marked by his unyielding dedication to justice and his extraordinary courage, serving as a timeless symbol of the values that define true heroism. The impact of Tyr's story is felt not just in the grand sweep of mythological events, but in the personal and emotional realm as well. His sacrifice for the sake of binding Fenrir is a testament to the strength of character and the profound sense of duty that drives him. Tyr's role as a god of law and heroism highlights the enduring themes of honor, sacrifice, and the pursuit of justice, making his story a powerful and moving part of Norse mythology. In the world of Norse mythology, where gods and creatures tread the edges of fate and destiny, there exists a figure who stands vigilant and unyielding, Heimdall, the watchman of the gods. His story is one of unwavering duty and vigilance, embodying the spirit of guardianship and the sacred responsibility of protecting the divine realms. Heimdall's origins are as remarkable as his role. He is the son of 9 maidens, known as the Norse Sisters, who symbolize the forces of nature and the elements. From these mystical beings, Heimdall inherits extraordinary attributes that set him apart. He is endowed with heightened senses, able to see for hundreds of miles and hear the faintest sound. These gifts make him the perfect guardian, capable of perceiving threats long before they become visible to others. His attributes reflect his role as a sentinel, a figure whose keen perception ensures the safety of the gods and their realm. Heimdall's primary role is as the guardian of the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge that connects Asgard, the realm of the gods, with Midgard, the world of humans. The Bifrost is no ordinary bridge, it is a shimmering path that holds the gateway between the divine and the mortal worlds. As the watchman of this sacred bridge, Heimdall stands as the first line of defense against any forces that would seek to breach the boundaries between these worlds. His vigilance ensures that the divine realm remains secure and that any threats are detected and addressed before they can cause harm. The myths surrounding Heimdall highlight his crucial role and the symbols associated with him. One of the most poignant symbols is his horn, Gjallarhorn. This mighty horn, which Heimdall uses to signal the onset of Ragnarok, the end of the world, is a symbol of his alertness and his readiness to call the gods to battle when the time comes. The sound of Gjallarhorn is said to be so loud that it can be heard throughout the 9 worlds, a testament to Heimdall's powerful presence and the gravity of his role. The horn's call is both a warning and a rallying cry, signaling the beginning of the final conflict and the ultimate test of the god's strength and resilience. Heimdall's role is also underscored by his unwavering commitment to his duty. His position as the guardian of the Bifrost requires constant vigilance and dedication, reflecting the sacrifices he makes in service to the gods. Unlike many of the gods who engage in various adventures and conflicts, Heimdall's duty is steady and unchanging. He remains at his post, watching over the bridge and ensuring that it remains secure against any encroaching danger. This steadfast commitment is both a source of admiration and a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of protection and duty. One of the most dramatic moments in Heimdall's story is his role in the events of Ragnarok. As the prophesied end of the world draws near, Heimdall's duty becomes even more critical. His vigilance reaches its peak as he prepares to sound Gjallarhorn and alert the gods to the impending doom. The imagery of Heimdall standing at the ready, his horn poised to signal the onset of the final battle, evokes a sense of both dread and hope. His role in Ragnarok symbolizes the ultimate test of his dedication and the indomitable spirit of a guardian who faces the end of times with unwavering resolve. Heimdall's story is also a touching reflection of the sacrifices inherent in the role of a protector. His unyielding duty to guard the Bifrost and his preparedness for the final battle against the forces of chaos underscore the profound commitment required to safeguard the realms of the gods and humans. His character is a powerful symbol of the strength and courage needed to face threats with steadfastness and honor. The legacy of Heimdall is one of deep respect and admiration. His role as the watchman of the gods and his vigilant guardianship of the Bifrost make him a central figure in Norse mythology, embodying the virtues of vigilance, sacrifice, and dedication. His story resonates with a sense of solemn duty and the emotional weight of being a sentinel who stands between worlds, ready to defend against any threat that may arise. Through Heimdall's unwavering commitment and the powerful symbol of Gjallarhorn, his myth captures the heart and imagination, reflecting the timeless values of honor and sacrifice. In the grand tapestry of Norse mythology, there is a figure whose story shines with an almost painful beauty, Balder, the god of beauty and light. His tale is a poignant blend of splendor and sorrow, a story that touches the heart and stirs the soul. Balder's origins are bathed in divine radiance. He is the son of Odin, the Allfather, and Frigg, the queen of Asgard. From his parents, he inherits a grace and brilliance that set him apart. Balder is known for his unparalleled beauty and his role as a beacon of light and joy among the gods. His presence is like a breath of fresh air, his very being a symbol of purity and the gentle warmth of the sun. His attributes are not just physical but also reflect his character, kindness, wisdom, and a serene demeanor that endears him to all who know him. The significance of Balder's death is one of the most heartrending aspects of Norse mythology. His story is a tragic narrative that underscores the fragility of life and the inescapable nature of fate. It begins with an ominous prophecy foretelling his demise, a fate that would bring immense sorrow to the gods and the world. Despite the efforts of his mother, Frigg, to protect him by extracting promises from all things in existence to never harm Balder, an unexpected twist ensures that the prophecy will come true. The tragic irony of Balder's story lies in the fact that his death comes not from malice but from a seemingly innocent trick. Loki, the trickster god, learns of a vulnerability that even the most careful precautions cannot guard against. He discovers that mistletoe, overlooked by Frigg in her vow, is the one substance that can harm Balder. With cruel cunning, Loki tricks Balder's blind brother, Hod, into throwing a spear or dart made of mistletoe at Balder. The weapon strikes true, and Balder falls to the ground, lifeless. The heavens, once filled with the light and warmth of Balder, are suddenly shrouded in darkness and grief. The significance of Balder's death cannot be overstated. It is a turning point in the Norse mythological narrative, marking the beginning of a series of events that lead to Ragnarok, the end of the world. Balder's passing represents the loss of innocence and the onset of a darker era for the gods and humanity. His death is not just the loss of a beloved deity but a symbol of the inevitable approach of fate and the fragility of even the most radiant beings. The myths surrounding Balder are rich with symbols of beauty and sorrow. His death leads to a series of profound reactions from the gods. They mourn his passing deeply, with Frigg's grief being especially intense. The gods attempt to resurrect Balder from the underworld, sending a messenger to Hel, the realm of the dead, to plead for his return. However, the request is denied because not all beings mourn Balder's death. Loki's refusal to grieve represents the darker forces that exist alongside the light. Balder's story is also imbued with symbolic significance. The mistletoe, the instrument of his death, transforms from a symbol of love and peace into one of tragedy and loss. The image of Balder, radiant and beloved, lying lifeless, evokes a deep sense of sorrow and the transient nature of life's beauty. The contrast between his luminous presence and the darkness following his death accentuates the emotional weight of his story. The beauty of Balder's character and the tragedy of his end create a story that resonates on a deeply emotional level. His life, marked by grace and light, and his death, a harbinger of sorrow and change, reflect the profound truths of existence. Balder's tale captures the essence of human vulnerability and the poignant nature of losing something truly beautiful. Through his story, the myth reveals the delicate balance between light and darkness, joy and sorrow, and the inevitable cycles of life that shape our understanding of the world. In the vast expanse of Norse mythology, Njord stands as a figure of profound significance, the god of the sea and wind. His presence is as sweeping and powerful as the ocean waves he commands, and his story reflects the deep connection between the natural world and the divine. Njord's origins are rooted in the ancient and elemental forces of nature. He belongs to the Vanir, a group of gods associated with fertility, prosperity, and the natural world, in contrast to the Aesir, who are more closely linked with war and order. Njord himself is a deity who embodies the boundless power and mystery of the sea and the wind. His attributes are both majestic and practical. He has the ability to calm or stir the waves and control the winds, making him an essential figure for seafarers and farmers alike. His divine control over these forces is crucial for ensuring safe voyages and bountiful harvests. Njord's role in maritime affairs is especially noteworthy. As the protector of sailors and fishermen, he is deeply revered by those who make their living from the sea. His blessings are sought before embarking on a voyage, hoping that his favor will bring smooth sailing and safe returns. The immense respect for Njord reflects the integral relationship between humans and the sea, highlighting the dependence on divine favor to navigate the unpredictable and often perilous waters. The connection between Njord and fertility is equally profound. His influence extends to agriculture, where his blessings are crucial for ensuring successful crops. In ancient times, when life was intimately tied to the rhythms of nature, Njord's role in bringing favorable winds and weather conditions was vital for the survival and prosperity of communities. The changing seasons and the cycles of growth and harvest were seen as expressions of his divine power, linking the health of the land directly to his favor. The myths surrounding Njord are rich with symbols that reflect his connection to the natural world. One of the key symbols is the ship Skidbladnir, which Njord owns. This magical ship, crafted by the dwarves, is said to be able to be folded up and carried in a pocket, making it a symbol of Njord's ability to command the seas and his role as a protector of those who traverse them. Skidbladnir's power to always find favorable winds further emphasizes Njord's role in ensuring safe and successful journeys across the waters. Njord's story also includes a poignant personal element. His marriage to the giantess Hecate, who was associated with the mountains and winter, highlights the blending of different natural elements and forces. The union between Njord and Hecate is a reflection of the harmony and sometimes tension between the sea and the mountains, and their story brings to light the complex relationships between the gods and the natural world. In the myths, Njord's home is not in Asgard, the realm of the Aesir, but in the sea, where he dwells in a place that reflects his dominion over the waters. This separation from the Aesir gods signifies his unique role and the distinct nature of his power. It also emphasizes the idea that the natural elements he controls are both separate from and integral to the divine order. Njord's character and his stories evoke a deep sense of awe and respect for the natural world. His control over the sea and the wind, his role in ensuring fertility, and the symbols associated with him all paint a picture of a deity whose influence is both grand and intimately tied to human life. The myths surrounding Njord highlight the profound connection between the divine and the natural world, illustrating the ways in which ancient peoples understood and revered the forces that shaped their lives. His legacy is a reminder of the power and mystery of nature, and the deep gratitude that those who rely on its bounty feel towards the divine forces that govern it. Through Njord's story, we glimpse the timeless relationship between humans and the natural world, and the reverence that the ancient Norse had for the gods who watched over them and ensured their prosperity. In the chill of winter's breath, where the snow blankets the earth and the world holds its breath in serene stillness, Hecate stands as a powerful and enigmatic figure. She is the goddess of winter, a giantess whose very essence embodies the fierce beauty and stark majesty of the cold season. Hecate's origins are as compelling as the icy landscape she governs. Born into the realm of giants, she represents a force of nature that is both untamed and awe-inspiring. Her heritage as a giantess connects her to the primordial forces that shaped the world, a reminder of the raw and untamed aspects of nature. Her attributes are striking and fitting for a deity of the winter. She is often depicted with a bow and skis, symbols of her dominance over the snowy wilderness and her prowess in the hunt. Her role as a goddess of skiing and hunting is not just symbolic, but a reflection of her daily life and skills. In the myths, Hecate is portrayed as a skilled hunter, navigating the winter landscape with ease and grace. The skis she uses are more than just a means of travel, they are an extension of her ability to command the winter elements and move effortlessly through the snow-covered world. Her hunting prowess is equally notable, as she is not merely a passive observer of the cold season but an active participant in its harsh realities. Hecate's story takes a dramatic turn with her marriage to Njord, the god of the sea. This union was born out of a complex interplay of gods and giants, and it highlights the tension and harmony between different elements of nature. While Njord represents the sea and its life-giving waters, Skadi embodies the cold, unforgiving winter. Their marriage symbolizes the balance between opposing forces and the way they come together to shape the world. One of the most poignant myths about Skadi revolves around her quest for vengeance and justice. After the death of her father, Jotzi, who was killed by the gods, Skadi sought retribution. She approached Asgard, the home of the gods, dressed in her winter gear, ready to confront those she believed were responsible. In the end, the gods offered her a form of compensation that included the right to choose a husband from among them, leading to her marriage with Njord. This story highlights Skadi's strength, determination, and her ability to navigate both the harshness of winter and the complex dynamics of the divine world. Symbols associated with Skadi are deeply connected to her dominion over winter and hunting. The bow and arrows represent her skill and her role as a hunter, while the skis signify her grace and speed across the snow. These symbols paint a picture of a goddess who is both fierce and elegant, a being whose presence commands respect and awe. The snow, often depicted as a blanket that covers the earth, serves as a constant reminder of her power and the quiet beauty that she brings to the world. Skadi's story and symbols evoke a profound sense of the cold, majestic beauty of winter. Her character embodies the strength and resilience needed to thrive in the harshest of conditions, and her myths offer a glimpse into the ancient understanding of the interplay between nature's elements. Through her, we experience the beauty of winter's stillness, the thrill of the hunt, and the complex dynamics between opposing forces. In Skadi, we find a deity who is both a fierce protector of her domain and a symbol of the grace that can be found in even the coldest of seasons. Her presence in Norse mythology serves as a powerful reminder of the beauty and power of the natural world, and her stories continue to inspire and captivate those who encounter them. In the heart of Asgard, where the divine tapestry of existence is woven with threads of myth and magic, Bragi stands as a beacon of creativity and eloquence. He is the god of poetry, a figure whose presence is felt through the power of words and the beauty of song. Bragi's role is not just significant, it is central to the cultural and spiritual life of the gods. Bragi's origins are steeped in the very essence of poetic inspiration. He is often described as the son of Odin, the All-Father, which ties him to the highest realms of divine authority and creativity. His attributes reflect his connection to the arts. He is known for his long beard, a symbol of wisdom and age, and his skill with language. Bragi's ability to weave words into enchanting tales and moving verses is a testament to his role as the Bard of Asgard. His voice is said to hold the power to captivate both gods and mortals alike, turning moments into memorable stories and mundane events into epic tales. As the Bard of Asgard, Bragi occupies a unique and cherished position among the gods. He is not merely a passive observer of events, but an active participant in shaping the stories and songs that define the divine experience. His role as the god of poetry involves celebrating the deeds of gods and heroes, preserving their stories for eternity. Through his songs and verses, Bragi immortalizes the triumphs, sorrows, and adventures of the gods, making them accessible to all who listen. His poetry is more than entertainment. It is a form of divine communication and a bridge between the mortal and immortal realms. One of the key myths involving Bragi reveals his deep connection to the art of storytelling. The myth of Bragi's poetry begins with his marriage to Idun, the goddess of youth and keeper of the golden apples that grant eternal life. This union is symbolic of the eternal nature of creativity and inspiration, suggesting that poetry and art are as timeless as the gods themselves. Idun's apples not only bestow immortality but also serve as a metaphor for the enduring power of Bragi's words, which continue to inspire and resonate long after they are spoken. Symbols associated with Bragi highlight his role and attributes. His long beard signifies wisdom and experience, attributes that are essential for a poet who weaves together the threads of truth and imagination. Another important symbol is the harp, which Bragi often plays to accompany his songs. The harp represents the harmony and beauty of poetry, and its music is said to echo the divine melody that flows through all creation. Bragi's poetry is not just a reflection of the world, but a means of connecting with its deepest truths. The stories told through Bragi's poetry are rich with emotion and depth. They capture the essence of gods and heroes, their struggles and victories, their joys and sorrows. Bragi's role in preserving these stories ensures that the divine narrative remains vibrant and alive, a testament to the power of words to shape our understanding of the world. Bragi's influence extends beyond the divine realm. His poetry inspires mortals as well, touching their lives with the magic of storytelling. The beauty and power of his words remind us of the importance of preserving our own stories and experiences through art and expression. Bragi's legacy is a reminder that poetry and creativity are not just gifts from the gods, but essential aspects of our own humanity. In Bragi, we find a god who embodies the profound power of words and the beauty of artistic expression. His presence in Norse mythology serves as a testament to the enduring importance of poetry and storytelling, and his stories continue to resonate with those who seek to understand the divine through the art of language. Through Bragi, the gods' tales are preserved and celebrated, ensuring that the magic of their stories endures for generations to come. In the heart of Asgard, where gods and goddesses reside in their eternal splendor, Idun holds a place of profound importance. She is the goddess of youth, a figure whose role is vital to the continued vitality and immortality of the divine beings. Idun's origins are as enchanting as the fruit she guards. As the daughter of the giantess Ivaldi, she is tied to the ancient and mystical forces that shape the world. Her name means the Rejuvenator, and she lives up to this title by safeguarding the magical apples that are the key to the gods' eternal youth. These apples are not mere fruits, they are the essence of everlasting life, ensuring that the gods remain forever youthful and full of vigor. Idun's attributes reflect her crucial role in Asgard. She is often depicted with a basket of golden apples, each one glowing with the promise of eternal youth. These apples are more than just symbols, they are the lifeline of the gods, their sustenance that keeps the divine beings from succumbing to the ravages of time. Idun's responsibility is not just to hold these apples, but to ensure that they are always available for the gods to consume. Without her, the gods would age and weaken, their immortality compromised. The myths surrounding Idun paint a vivid picture of her significance. One of the most heart-wrenching tales involves her kidnapping by the giant Jotzi. In this myth, Jotzi, seeking to gain control over the gods, lures Idun away from Asgard with the promise of new and wondrous apples. Once she is captured, Jotzi takes her to his icy realm, leaving the gods without their precious source of youth. The absence of Idun leads to a rapid deterioration in the gods' strength and vitality, showcasing just how essential she is to their well-being. The gods, desperate to restore their lost youth, embark on a perilous journey to rescue Idun. This story reveals the deep bond between Idun and the other gods. Her captivity not only endangers her, but also jeopardizes the divine order. The gods' quest to retrieve her is a testament to their love and respect for her and the recognition of her invaluable role. The rescue mission, filled with bravery and cunning, ultimately succeeds, and Idun is restored to her rightful place in Asgard, bringing with her the life-giving apples. The symbols associated with Idun are deeply connected to her role as the goddess of youth. The golden apples she carries are not merely a representation of her divine duty, but also a powerful symbol of eternal life and renewal. These apples are a reminder of the gods' dependence on Idun and her unique ability to keep them young and strong. Her imagery often includes the basket of apples and sometimes a youthful, radiant appearance that underscores her role in maintaining the divine vitality. Idun's story and symbols evoke a profound sense of the delicate balance between life and time. Her presence in Norse mythology is a powerful reminder of the ways in which the divine and mortal worlds are intertwined. Her role as the keeper of the apples is not just a task, but a sacred duty, one that ensures the gods remain timeless and their realm remains in harmony. Through her, we see the beauty and importance of nurturing and preserving the vitality that sustains life, whether divine or mortal. Idun's legacy is one of timelessness and renewal. She is a figure who embodies the essence of life's continuity and the importance of safeguarding what is precious. Her story is a poignant reminder of the fragility and strength of life, and her role as the goddess of youth continues to inspire and touch the hearts of those who hear her tale. Amidst the chaos and clamor of battle, where the clash of swords and the cries of warriors fill the air, there exists a group of divine beings whose presence is both awe-inspiring and haunting. The Valkyries, the choosers of the slain, are not just figures of myth but essential players in the grand narrative of Norse mythology. Their role and attributes create a bridge between the mortal world and the divine halls of Valhalla, where the bravest of warriors find their final resting place. The origins of the Valkyries are steeped in mystery and power. These warrior maidens are often seen as daughters of Odin, the All-Father, and are endowed with an ethereal strength and grace that sets them apart from other beings. Their very name means chooser of the slain, which hints at their solemn and significant duty. Each Valkyrie is a fierce and noble figure, often depicted riding swift horses and clad in shining armor. They are embodiments of both beauty and strength, combining the ferocity of warriors with the elegance of the divine. The primary role of the Valkyries is to select the bravest and most valiant warriors who have fallen in battle. As the choosers of the slain, they roam the battlefield, their presence marked by the glint of their armor and the thundering hooves of their steeds. With a discerning eye and a compassionate heart, they identify those whose valor deserves recognition and eternal honor. These chosen souls are then guided to Valhalla, the majestic hall of the slain, where they will join Odin and the other honored warriors. Valhalla itself is a place of both glory and challenge. It is a hall where the chosen warriors will spend their days in heroic pursuits, preparing for the final battle of Ragnarok. Their nights are spent in feasting and storytelling, surrounded by comrades who share their valor and honor. The Valkyries' role in this process is not just to transport these warriors to Valhalla, but to ensure that they are welcomed into a realm where their spirits can live on in eternal glory. The myths involving the Valkyries are as dramatic and poignant as their role suggests. One of the most stirring tales is that of Brynhildr, a Valkyrie whose fate becomes entangled with the legendary hero Sigurd. In this story, Brynhildr is cursed to remain in a deep sleep, awaiting the hero who will awaken her. Sigurd, renowned for his bravery, ultimately awakens her, leading to a powerful and tragic love story that intertwines the fates of gods and mortals. This myth highlights the Valkyries' connection to the destiny of heroes and the emotional weight of their divine duty. Symbols associated with the Valkyries often include the helmet and spear, which represent their warrior nature and their role in battle. Their presence is also marked by ravens, which are often seen accompanying them as they choose the slain. These birds are not just symbols of death, but also of wisdom and prophecy, reflecting the Valkyries' role in guiding the souls of warriors to their destined place. The Valkyries' role in selecting warriors for Valhalla is both a privilege and a burden. It is a task that requires not only strength and bravery, but also a deep sense of responsibility. They are the arbiters of fate, ensuring that those who have proven themselves in life are granted a place in the afterlife. Their choices are final, and their duty is carried out with a mixture of reverence and solemnity. Through their role and symbolism, the Valkyries remind us of the profound connection between life and death, honor and destiny. They stand as guardians of the threshold between the mortal realm and the divine, ensuring that the memory of the greatest warriors endures beyond the battlefield. The Valkyries are not just figures of myth, but embodiments of the values and virtues that define heroism and honor in Norse mythology. Their presence is a testament to the enduring power of valor and the eternal impact of those who live and die with courage and strength. In the quiet moments before dawn, as the world holds its breath and waits for the sun, there are beings who quietly weave the fabric of fate. These are the Norns, the fates of Norse mythology, whose presence is both awe-inspiring and shrouded in an air of solemnity. They stand at the loom of destiny, their hands moving with precision and care as they spin the threads of life, weaving the destinies of gods and men alike. The origins of the Norns are both mysterious and profound. They are often depicted as three ancient sisters who live by the great Yggdrasil, the world tree. Their names, Urd, Verdandi, and Skuld, reflect their roles and attributes. Urd represents the past, Verdandi the present, and Skuld the future. Together, they embody the full spectrum of time and existence. Each Norn has her own distinct role, but they work in harmony to shape the fates that govern all life. The Norn's primary role is to weave the tapestry of destiny, determining the fate of every being in the cosmos. As they sit beside the great Yggdrasil, they spin, measure, and cut the threads of life. This task is not merely about predicting what will happen, but actively shaping it. They decide the length of each thread, the patterns it will follow, and when it will end. No mortal or god is exempt from their influence. Even the mighty Odin himself is subject to their weaving. One of the most poignant aspects of the Norn's role is their impartiality. They are neither benevolent nor malevolent. Their actions are simply the natural unfolding of fate. Their decisions are final, and their weaving is a reflection of the balance and order of the universe. For this reason, their presence is both comforting and terrifying. They remind us that life is a tapestry of interconnected events, each thread vital to the whole. The myths surrounding the Norns are as profound as their role. One particularly moving story involves the Norns and the fate of the hero Sigurd. Sigurd, known for his bravery and legendary deeds, is nonetheless subject to the Norns' weaving. His destiny, marked by both triumph and tragedy, is determined by their threads. This tale underscores the inevitability of fate and the ways in which even the greatest heroes are bound by it. Symbols associated with the Norns are deeply evocative. They are often depicted with spools of thread or weaving tools, emphasizing their role in shaping destiny. The Great Yggdrasil, the World Tree, is also a central symbol, as it represents the interconnectedness of all things and the foundation upon which the Norns weave their tapestry. Water from the Well of Urd, which the Norns use to water the roots of Yggdrasil, is a symbol of their connection to the flow of time and the cycle of life. The Norns' influence extends beyond the personal to the cosmic. Their weaving affects the very fabric of the universe, influencing the fate of gods, men, and even the world itself. This cosmic role highlights their importance in maintaining the balance of existence. Their work is a reminder of the delicate balance between fate and free will, and the ways in which every action and decision ripples through the tapestry of life. As they weave, the Norns embody a sense of inevitability and acceptance. They remind us that while we may strive to shape our own destinies, there are forces beyond our control. Their presence is a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of all things and the ways in which our lives are woven into a larger, cosmic design. In their quiet, unyielding way, the Norns offer both a challenge and a comfort. They challenge us to confront the limits of our control and to accept the mysteries of fate. At the same time, they offer comfort in their presence, assuring us that our lives are part of a grand, ordered design. Their weaving is a testament to the profound and intricate nature of existence, and their role as the fates of Norse mythology continues to resonate with a deep, emotional impact. In the swirling chaos of the ocean depths, there lurks a creature whose name alone sends shivers down the spine. This is Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, a being whose immense size and fearsome presence make him one of the most formidable figures in Norse mythology. His story is one of eternal struggle and destiny, entwined with the fate of gods and the very fabric of the world itself. Jormungandr's origins are as vast as the ocean he inhabits. Born from the giantess Angrboda and the trickster god Loki, Jormungandr is a symbol of chaos and power. He is one of three monstrous offspring, alongside Fenrir the wolf and Hel, the ruler of the underworld. From the moment of his birth, it was clear that Jormungandr would play a pivotal role in the cosmic drama of Norse mythology. He was cast into the depths of the ocean that encircles Midgard, the realm of humans, where he grew to an unimaginable size, encircling the world with his serpentine form. The attributes of Jormungandr are as striking as his role in mythology. His body is so vast that he coils around Midgard, his head meeting his tail in an eternal embrace. This endless loop represents the inescapable fate that binds all beings. His mere presence is a reminder of the primordial chaos that lies just beneath the surface of order. Jormungandr's eyes are said to glow with a fierce and ancient wisdom, and his scales shimmer with an eerie light, reflecting his otherworldly nature. Jormungandr's role as Thor's nemesis is one of the most gripping aspects of his story. The Thunder God and the Midgard Serpent are locked in a perpetual struggle, a clash that embodies the struggle between order and chaos. Their enmity is not merely personal but cosmic. Thor and Jormungandr are fated to confront each other during Ragnarok, the end of the world, where their final battle will decide the fate of the gods and the cosmos. One of the most dramatic myths involving Jormungandr is his role in Ragnarok. As the day of reckoning approaches, Jormungandr will rise from the ocean, his immense form causing the seas to flood and the earth to tremble. He will unleash his fury upon the world, and his presence will signal the beginning of the final battle. Thor and Jormungandr will meet in a clash of thunder and serpent, their battle a reflection of the ultimate conflict between order and chaos. The outcome of this battle will have profound consequences for the world, marking the end of the old and the beginning of a new cycle. Symbols associated with Jormungandr are as evocative as his myths. His coiled body represents the cyclical nature of existence, the endless loop of life and death, order and chaos. The serpent's endless embrace of Midgard is a symbol of the inescapable fate that binds all beings. In many depictions, Jormungandr's eyes and scales shine with a fierce, almost hypnotic light, emphasizing his otherworldly power and the primal fear he evokes. The story of Jormungandr is not just one of fear and conflict, but also of destiny and balance. His role in Ragnarok is crucial to the Norse understanding of the cosmos. His battle with Thor represents the final confrontation between opposing forces, a struggle that is both destructive and necessary for the renewal of the world. Jormungandr's presence is a reminder of the power of chaos and the way it shapes the course of history and fate. In his eternal struggle with Thor, Jormungandr embodies the tension between order and chaos, creation and destruction. His story is a powerful reminder of the forces that shape the world and the way they are intertwined with our own fates. Through his myths and symbols, Jormungandr continues to captivate and evoke a profound sense of awe and dread, reminding us of the complex and often unpredictable nature of existence. In the dark corners of Norse mythology, where fate and terror intertwine, there exists a figure so formidable that even the gods feared him. This figure is Fenrir, the wolf of destruction, whose presence looms large in the tales of gods and monsters. His story is not merely one of brute strength, but of destiny, fear, and the inevitable clash between order and chaos. Fenrir's origins are both dramatic and chilling. Born from the union of the trickster god Loki and the giantess Angerboda, Fenrir was destined to be a creature of immense power and destruction. As a young wolf, he grew with astonishing speed and strength, quickly surpassing all expectations. The gods, sensing the threat he posed, could not ignore his rapid growth and the ominous prophecies surrounding him. Fenrir's fierce eyes and powerful frame were a constant reminder of the chaos that lurked just beneath the surface of their orderly world. The attributes of Fenrir are a testament to his fearsome nature. His size and strength are legendary, making him a symbol of raw, untamed power. His eyes are said to burn with a primal rage, reflecting the chaos and destruction he embodies. Fenrir's very presence is a force of nature, a reminder of the wild and uncontrollable aspects of existence that even the gods cannot fully master. Fenrir's role in Ragnarok, the end of the world, is both tragic and pivotal. According to the prophecies, Fenrir will break free from his chains and lead the forces of chaos against the gods in the final battle. His escape will signal the beginning of the end, as he wreaks havoc and destruction upon the world. The gods' fear of Fenrir is palpable. They know that his freedom will bring about the downfall of their order and the onset of a new, chaotic era. The sight of Fenrir's monstrous form breaking free from his bonds is a harbinger of doom, a symbol of the inevitable collapse of the old world. The gods, recognizing the threat Fenrir posed, attempted to bind him with magical chains. They tried several times, each attempt a reflection of their desperation to control the uncontrollable. The first chains, made of iron and steel, were shattered by Fenrir's immense strength. The gods, realizing that mere physical bonds were insufficient, turned to the magical chain Gleipnir, crafted by dwarves using the sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the roots of mountains, and other impossible materials. Gleipnir was a slender, silken ribbon, seemingly delicate but imbued with powerful magic. Fenrir, sensing the deceit but unable to break the magical bonds, was finally restrained. His binding was a desperate measure by the gods, a way to delay the inevitable clash between order and chaos. The key myths surrounding Fenrir are filled with drama and foreboding. One of the most poignant tales is his interaction with the gods, particularly his binding. The gods, who initially sought to protect themselves from Fenrir's growing power, were forced to deceive and betray him. They promised him a test of strength, asking him to try and break free from the chains. Fenrir, trusting the gods, agreed, only to find himself tricked and bound by Gleipnir. This betrayal marked the beginning of his enmity with the gods, fueling his rage and determination for vengeance. The myth of his binding is not just a story of physical restraint, but of a profound betrayal that set the stage for the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok. Symbols associated with Fenrir are as fierce and dramatic as his presence. His name itself is a symbol of fear and destruction, embodying the primal forces that lie at the heart of the world. The chains that bound him, particularly Gleipnir, symbolize the gods' attempt to control and contain chaos. Yet, despite their efforts, Fenrir's eventual escape and his role in Ragnarok remind us of the limits of control and the inevitability of change. Fenrir's story is a powerful reminder of the delicate balance between order and chaos, the eternal struggle between creation and destruction. His tale is one of raw power and destiny, a testament to the ways in which fear and prophecy shape the actions of both gods and mortals. Through his myths and symbols, Fenrir continues to evoke a deep sense of awe and dread, reminding us of the unstoppable forces that lie at the heart of existence. In the beginning, when the cosmos was still in its raw, untamed state, there was Ymir, the primordial being whose existence was both the spark and the substance of creation. Ymir's story is one of raw power and transformation, marking the genesis of the world as we know it. His immense and awe-inspiring presence is woven into the very fabric of Norse mythology, setting the stage for the world's formation. Ymir's origins are as ancient and enigmatic as the cosmos itself. Born from the primal chaos of Ginnungagap, the yawning void that existed before the world, Ymir emerged from the collision of heat and cold. From the icy realms of Niflheim and the fiery realms of Muspelheim, the elemental forces came together to shape Ymir, whose body was both the embodiment of chaos and the blueprint of life. His sheer size was nothing short of staggering, a colossal figure whose every breath and heartbeat resonated with the raw, untamed power of creation. The attributes of Ymir are as vast as his presence. He is described as a giant of immense strength and size, with a form that defied the limits of normal comprehension. His body was the first material form in existence, and from him, the world would eventually be sculpted. The gods would later look upon Ymir's enormous frame and see not just a being of monstrous proportions, but the very essence of potential, a living foundation upon which they would build their ordered world. Ymir's role in the creation of the world is both profound and tragic. According to the myths, Ymir's body became the very substance of the world. When he was slain by Odin and his brothers Vili and Ve, his massive form was used to fashion the universe. His flesh became the earth, his blood the seas, his bones the mountains, and his skull the sky. Even the sky's dome was constructed from his skull, held aloft by 4 dwarves representing the 4 corners of the world. This act of creation was not merely the shaping of land and sea, but the transformation of chaos into cosmos, from the primal void to a structured, living world. Yet, the myths also carry a sense of sorrow. Ymir's death marked the end of an era, a necessary sacrifice for the birth of order. His demise was not just a physical act, but a profound, cosmic shift. The gods who killed Ymir were driven by necessity, striving to bring structure to the chaos that his existence represented. As they looked upon the vast expanse of Ymir's remains, they saw not just the remnants of a primordial giant, but the raw materials from which they would carve a new, balanced world. The key myths surrounding Ymir are both grand and somber. His story is not merely about creation, but about the cost of bringing order to chaos. The gods' decision to slay Ymir was driven by their vision of a more harmonious world, yet it came with a profound sense of loss. His blood, which filled the primordial void, became the oceans that would shape the world, and his flesh, transformed into the land, was a constant reminder of the sacrifice made for the sake of creation. Symbols associated with Ymir are deeply intertwined with the natural world. His body, repurposed into the earth and sky, symbolizes the inherent connection between the divine and the natural. The mountains, seas, and heavens crafted from his remains reflect not just the physical world but the underlying forces that govern existence. Ymir's name itself evokes the primal power of the cosmos, a reminder of the ancient forces that shaped the world and continue to influence it. Ymir's story is a powerful testament to the themes of creation and sacrifice. His existence and eventual demise are woven into the fabric of the world, reminding us of the delicate balance between chaos and order, destruction and creation. His legacy is not just in the physical world but in the very essence of existence, a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made to shape the universe from the raw forces of the void. Amidst the swirling chaos of ancient Norse tales, one figure stands out with a blend of mystery and turmoil: Gullveig, the Witch of the Vanir. Her story is a shadowy one, where magic and malice intertwine in a tale that echoes through the ages, revealing the deep scars of mythic conflict. Gullveig's origins are shrouded in the mystique of her enchantment and the ancient forces she wielded. She was a powerful sorceress from the Vanir, a race of gods known for their mastery of magic and fertility. Gullveig was no ordinary witch; her very being was infused with ancient knowledge and formidable power. Her attributes were as striking as they were fearsome. With her long, flowing hair and eyes that seemed to pierce through the veils of reality, she embodied the dark arts in their most potent form. Her presence was both alluring and terrifying, a blend of beauty and danger that set her apart from the other deities. The role of Gullveig in the epic struggle between the Aesir and the Vanir was pivotal. Her arrival marked the beginning of a deep and bitter conflict between these two powerful factions of Norse deities. The Aesir, who were the primary gods of Asgard, and the Vanir, who were associated with nature and fertility, had long been at odds. Gullveig's influence heightened these tensions, acting as a catalyst that ignited the war between these divine races. The Aesir viewed Gullveig with a mix of fear and contempt. Her magic was seen as a direct threat to their power and order. As her influence grew, so did the anxiety among the Aesir, who feared that her dark spells and cunning could undermine their control. The tension reached a breaking point when Gullveig's actions led to an open conflict. The myth describes how her very presence caused turmoil and strife, leading to accusations and aggression. The Aesir, in their desperation to quell her influence, took drastic measures. One of the most striking aspects of Gullveig's story is her apparent invincibility. Despite the Aesir's attempts to destroy her, casting her into the flames and stabbing her repeatedly, Gullveig was not vanquished. Each time she was burned, she rose again, embodying the essence of resurrection and defiance. Her ability to survive these attacks only heightened her mystique and made her a symbol of relentless resistance. This cycle of death and rebirth, while alarming to the gods, symbolized her undying power and the inherent danger she posed. The myths surrounding Gullveig are steeped in symbolism and resonance. She is often depicted as a figure of immense magical power, whose mere presence could cause the heavens to tremble. Her story intertwines with the larger narrative of the Aesir-Vanir War, acting as both a catalyst and a symbol of the deep divisions between the two races. Her role in the conflict illustrates the destructive potential of unchecked magic and the challenges faced by those who wield it. The symbols associated with Gullveig reflect her complex nature. Fire, which was used to try to destroy her, became a symbol of her resilience and the fiery essence of her magic. Her repeated resurrection and survival from the flames symbolized the eternal struggle between chaos and order, destruction and regeneration. Gullveig's presence in the myths is a reminder of the deep, often painful, interplay between power and vulnerability, and the lengths to which beings will go to preserve their dominion. Gullveig's story is a powerful testament to the themes of power and resistance. Her indomitable spirit and the dramatic conflict she incited provide a window into the fierce and often tumultuous world of Norse mythology. Her legend serves as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices and struggles that define the age-old conflicts between the forces of order and chaos, and the profound impact of those who stand at the heart of these ancient struggles. In the midst of the chaos and fury of Ragnarok, there stands a figure unlike the others, a god who does not shout or boast, but whose silence speaks louder than words. Vidar, the silent god of vengeance, embodies a quiet strength that resonates with a power few can comprehend. His silence is not emptiness, it is the calm before a storm, the quiet resolve that masks a deep and burning purpose. He waits patiently, watching, his role in the great cosmic battle already written in the threads of fate. Vidar's origins trace back to Odin himself, the Allfather. Yet, unlike his father's wisdom or his brother's fame, Vidar is known for something much more primal, his thirst for vengeance. His attributes set him apart from other gods. He is known as the Silent One, a figure of few words but of immense action. His strength is unmatched, his courage unwavering. Vidar's silence is not weakness, but a reflection of his inner power, a force that needs no boasting, no grand declarations. There is a deep sadness in Vidar's story, a sense of inevitability that hangs over him like a shadow. He knows what is to come. He knows that the day will arrive when the world will fall apart, when his father Odin, the mightiest of all gods, will face his end at the jaws of the monstrous wolf Fenrir. And in that moment, Vidar's silence will shatter, and he will rise to avenge his father's death. Vidar's role in the myth of Ragnarok is both heartbreaking and awe-inspiring. He does not rush into battle recklessly, nor does he seek glory for himself. He is driven by a single purpose, the need to bring justice to his father's killer. Fenrir, the great wolf who has long been a symbol of chaos and destruction, is destined to kill Odin during the final battle. But Vidar will not let this go unanswered. When the fateful day arrives, and the world burns, Vidar steps forward. His weapon is not a sword or a spear, but a simple, yet powerful symbol of his strength, a mighty shoe. This shoe, crafted from the leather scraps of every shoe ever made, has been forged for this very moment. It is imbued with the weight of destiny, a symbol of the quiet preparations Vidar has made for this day of reckoning. With it, he will do the impossible. As Fenrir charges toward Odin, jaws gaping wide, the mighty wolf claims the life of the Allfather. But before Fenrir can revel in his victory, Vidar strikes. In one swift, silent motion, he forces his foot into the wolf's jaw, using the strength of his enchanted shoe to keep the beast from closing its mouth. Vidar's silence gives way to the force of his vengeance. With his bare hands, he grips the wolf's upper jaw and tears it apart. Fenrir, the terror of the gods, is defeated. In that moment, Vidar's purpose is fulfilled, but his heart remains heavy with the weight of his father's death. The myth of Vidar and Fenrir is not just a story of vengeance. It is a tale of quiet resilience, of a son's love for his father, and of the strength that comes from silent determination. Vidar is not like Thor, who charges into battle with a roar, nor like Loki, whose cunning drives his actions. Vidar is the quiet storm, the one who watches and waits, knowing that his time will come. His silence is his strength, and his vengeance, when it comes, is swift and unstoppable. Vidar's story is also a reminder that vengeance comes at a cost. Though he avenges Odin's death, the world is forever changed by Ragnarok. The old gods fall, the great battles are fought, and in the end, a new world rises from the ashes. Vidar survives this apocalypse, but his heart is marked by the loss of his father. He has fulfilled his role, but there is no triumph in his eyes, no celebration in his actions. He carries the weight of his father's death with him, a silent burden that no amount of vengeance can erase. The symbols associated with Vidar reflect his quiet strength and his role as the Avenger. His enchanted shoe, crafted from the leather scraps of the world, is a symbol of preparation, patience, and destiny. It is not a grand weapon, but it is powerful nonetheless, a testament to the strength that lies in the seemingly simple and unassuming. Vidar himself, with his silence and his resolve, is a symbol of the kind of strength that needs no words, no grand gestures. His power lies in his actions, in the way he steps forward when the time is right and fulfills his destiny without hesitation. In the end, Vidar's story is one of love, loss, and vengeance. It is the story of a son who would do anything to avenge his father, even if it means facing down a monstrous beast like Fenrir. His silence is not the absence of feeling, but the depth of it. Vidar's heart is full of the love he bears for Odin, and when that love is shattered by the wolf's jaws, his vengeance is swift, precise, and final. There is something deeply human in Vidar's story, a reflection of the quiet strength that many carry within them. He is not loud or boastful, but his heart is full of love, loyalty, and a fierce determination to set things right. His silence speaks volumes, and when the time comes, his actions speak even louder. Vidar is the silent god of vengeance, and in his quiet strength, he becomes a figure of profound power and unshakable resolve. In the silent shadows of Asgard, a grief like no other took root when Balder, the most beloved of the gods, fell to an untimely death. The light in the hearts of the gods dimmed, and the sorrow was almost too much to bear. But from this heartache, a new force was born. Vali, a son of Odin, was brought into the world for one reason only: to avenge the death of his brother. Vala's birth was no ordinary event. He was born with purpose etched into his very soul, growing from child to warrior in a single day. His origins were unlike those of any other god. While most were raised with time to find their paths, Vali came into existence knowing exactly what he was destined to do. The gods looked to him, seeing not just a young deity but a living embodiment of vengeance, created to bring justice where none seemed possible. The pain of Balder's death wasn't a simple tragedy, it was a wound that cut deep into the hearts of the gods. Balder, with his radiant beauty and gentle spirit, was loved by all. He was the symbol of peace and joy in Asgard, untouchable by death, or so it was believed. His mother, Frigg, had made every creature and object in the world swear not to harm him, but there was one thing she overlooked: the simple, seemingly harmless mistletoe. And it was this fragile plant that led to Balder's death at the hands of Loki, the trickster, and Hr, Balder's blind brother, who unknowingly cast the fatal blow. The death of Balder shook the very foundations of the gods' world. And as they mourned, their hearts turned cold toward the one responsible for this unspeakable loss. Loki's role in the tragedy could not go unanswered, but it was Vali who would carry the weight of vengeance. Vala's role was not one of choice, it was one of fate. He had no time for childhood, no years of training to hone his skills. Instead, he grew into a full-grown warrior in the span of a day, his body and mind prepared for the task that awaited him. He was a god of vengeance, and nothing would stand in his way. The pain and anger that filled Asgard after Balder's death found a voice in Vali. There was no need for words, no room for hesitation. The moment he came into being, he understood the task ahead of him. His role was clear: he would avenge his brother, and in doing so, he would bring justice to the gods and peace to their hearts. Vala's vengeance was swift. His target was Hr, the blind brother who had been used as a pawn in Loki's cruel game. Though Hr had not meant to harm Balder, it was his hand that had loosed the mistletoe spear. And so, with the fire of justice burning in his heart, Vali sought him out. The gods watched as Vala's strength and fury were unleashed, his actions not driven by hatred for Hr, but by a need to set things right. The act of vengeance was as inevitable as the rising of the sun. Though the myths do not linger on the details of Vala's vengeance, the weight of his actions echoes through time. It wasn't just an act of violence, it was a release of the gods' collective grief, a way to balance the scales after the unimaginable loss of Balder. In that moment, Vali was not just a god, he was the embodiment of the love the gods had for Balder, the love that demanded justice. The symbols that surround Vali reflect his nature and his purpose. He is often associated with arrows, a weapon that, like his vengeance, strikes swiftly and without hesitation. The arrow does not ask questions, it finds its mark with unerring accuracy. Vali, too, did not waver in his mission. He was born to do one thing, and he carried it out with the precision and focus of an arrow shot toward its target. But beyond the symbols of war and vengeance, there is something deeper in Vala's story, a sense of loyalty and devotion that transcends the simple act of revenge. He is a god who was created for a single purpose, and yet that purpose is rooted in love. The love for his brother, for his family, and for the order of the world as the gods knew it. Vala's actions were not born out of blind rage or cruelty, but out of a deep need to right a wrong, to bring peace to a world that had been shattered by tragedy. As the years passed and the gods continued their eternal lives, the memory of Baldur's death and Vala's vengeance remained a scar on the heart of Asgard. It was a reminder that even in a world of gods and giants, grief and loss were inescapable. But it was also a testament to the power of love and loyalty, to the strength that comes from standing up for those we have lost. Vala's silence after his act of vengeance speaks volumes. He does not boast of his actions, nor does he seek recognition. His role was one of necessity, not glory. And yet, his presence lingers, a quiet reminder that justice, when it comes, is often swift and unspoken. The myths surrounding Vali may not be as elaborate as those of other gods, but they are no less powerful. In his silence, and his swift and unwavering actions, Vali captures the essence of a deeper truth, the need for balance, the pain of loss, and the strength of love. His story is one that resonates not because of its grand gestures or complex battles, but because of its simplicity. In avenging Baldur, Vali did what needed to be done, and in doing so, he brought a measure of peace to a world torn apart by grief. The tale of Vali is one that lingers long after it is told. It is a story of silent strength, of love and loss, of vengeance carried out not with hatred, but with a heavy heart. And as long as the myths of the gods are told, Vala's name will be remembered, not as a god of rage, but as a god of quiet, unshakable loyalty. In the whispers of the wind and the crash of the storm, their presence lingers. The Norse gods, once worshipped in the cold lands of Scandinavia, still speak to us. Their names, etched into the bones of the earth, haven't faded with time. Instead, they've woven themselves into the very fabric of our modern world, influencing the way we think, dream, and tell stories. It's not just in the ancient sagas where they live, their spirit walks among us, in the most unexpected places. The thunderous roar of Thor echoes in every storm we hear. His hammer, Mjolnir, once the protector of gods and men, has become a symbol of strength that transcends the old world. Thor is no longer just the god of thunder, he has become a figure that represents resilience and power, a reminder that, like him, we too can stand firm in the face of chaos. His story, full of battles and trials, connects deeply with the human need to fight through adversity. Whether it's a warrior's struggle or the inner battles we face every day, Thor's hammer still swings, reminding us that we can endure. Odin, the All-Father, with his one eye and deep wisdom, sits in the quiet moments of our thoughts. He sacrificed for knowledge, giving up an eye for the ability to see beyond the surface of things. In the stories, he wandered the world, seeking wisdom wherever it could be found. That search for understanding, that hunger to know more, still pulses within us. Odin's relentless quest for knowledge is reflected in our own desire to explore the mysteries of life, to look beyond the horizon, and to ask the questions that stir our souls. His presence is felt in every corner of modern storytelling, from the complex characters in novels to the philosophical questions we wrestle with today. And then there is Loki, the trickster, who slips through the cracks of our world, causing us to question what we think we know. His chaotic spirit is alive in the moments where life takes unexpected turns, where plans unravel, and where laughter can suddenly turn into something darker. Loki's influence can be seen in the anti-heroes of our modern stories, those characters who live in the gray areas of morality, who challenge the idea of good and evil. He reminds us that life isn't always clear-cut, that sometimes the trickster can show us things that we wouldn't see otherwise. The Valkyries, those fierce, beautiful beings who choose the slain on the battlefield, still ride through our imaginations. They represent the thin line between life and death, the delicate balance of fate. Their legacy is felt in the way we approach destiny, the idea that there are forces beyond our control guiding us toward our end. The image of the Valkyrie, fierce and unyielding, still inspires strength, especially in women who seek to embody their power. They are a symbol of courage, a reminder that even in the face of death, there is honor to be found. Even in the simple things, the Norse gods have left their mark. The days of the week carry their names, woven into our routines without us even realizing it. Wednesday, or Woden's Day, is named for Odin. Thursday, or Thor's Day, bears the name of the thunder god. Friday is tied to Frigg, Odin's wife, and sometimes Freya, the goddess of love. Their presence is quiet but ever present, a subtle reminder of the old ways that still linger in our modern lives. In our stories, in our films, in the very way we think about heroism, the Norse gods continue to shape our world. They are the inspiration behind many of our modern legends. The superheroes of today, characters like Thor and Loki, aren't just figures from ancient mythology, they are living, breathing symbols of the timeless human struggles we all face. Their stories have been retold, reshaped, and reimagined for new generations, but the core of who they are remains the same. And it's not just in entertainment where their influence is felt. In the quiet moments of reflection, when we ponder the meaning of life, the Norse gods offer something deeper. They show us that the world is both beautiful and brutal, that life is full of battles both great and small. They remind us that even in the face of death, there is something worth fighting for, something worth living for. They teach us that wisdom often comes with a cost, but that the pursuit of knowledge, of understanding, is a journey worth taking. In modern culture, the Norse deities represent more than just ancient tales, they are reflections of the human condition. They embody the complexities of life, the contradictions we all carry within us. Odin's thirst for knowledge, Thor's unyielding strength, Loki's cunning, and the Valkyrie's fearlessness, they are aspects of ourselves that we recognize, that we see mirrored in our own lives. Their myths may be ancient, but their lessons are timeless. In a world that is constantly changing, where the old ways are often forgotten, the Norse gods remain steadfast. They are a reminder of the past, of a time when people believed in something greater than themselves, but they are also a part of the present, continuing to influence and inspire us in ways we might not even realize. The Norse gods live on, not just in the stories we tell, but in the way we face the world. They are in the strength we find when the storms of life rage around us, and the wisdom we seek when the answers seem far away, and the mischief we embrace when life becomes too predictable. They are in the courage we summon when faced with the unknown, and in the way we honor the battles we fight, both big and small. Their legacy is not one that fades with time, it grows, evolving with each new generation that finds meaning in their stories. They remind us that, no matter how far we come, the struggles and triumphs of life remain the same. And as long as we continue to tell their stories, the Norse gods will continue to walk among us, their presence felt in the thunder, the wind, and the quiet. Moments of reflection.